because Trump does this crap all the time too. He's very guilty of, you're just a piece of garbage for something that I read on the internet. But let's get to the Democratic Party, okay? And you're going down the list. I don't know if you want to keep going, but I know, who's next on the list?
Well, the ones that I think are, let me just, here's Joe Biden's, his signature issues. And this is according to a New York Times article. Restoring America's standing on the global stage, strengthening economic protections for low-income workers like manufacturing and fast food. That is 1960s Democrat playbook stuff.
Just normal stuff.
Exactly. Let's stay on the same page. And somebody who I actually think is relevant, Cory Booker. Your former boy, New Jersey Senator.
Cory Booker, I think his campaign's going nowhere. I like him. I was a big fan of him. This campaign, and this is true with a lot of people on this list, why when I like someone, they run for president, I'm like, because I'm not such a big fan of him now. Perfect example, leads into what we're talking about. Joe Biden, front runner. Cory Booker and Kamala Harris can't figure out why black folks are overwhelmingly favoring Biden over them. Because someone in the liberal media told them that they were supposed to get that vote.
Right.
Because black people only vote for black people and don't base it off of issues or electability or anything.
Yeah.
Because that's what they send MSNBC.
Exactly.
Which is pretty racist to me, but let's get on. We'll deal with that later. So Cory Booker finds out, the whole thing with the busing. Biggest bunch of garbage. It makes the what the stuff was going on with the Republicans in 2016 look like Lincoln Douglas debates.
Educate the people on what you're talking about with the busing, please.
So, basically what happened was a few weeks or a week or so before the debate, I'm not sure the timeline because I didn't pay attention at first in terms of I didn't think it was a big deal. Turns out Joe Biden said something about, hey, look, in the 70s, I had to work with segregationists. Things were more civil. He talks about Eastland, who was a huge figure in the anti-integration movement. And he was also a guy who was trying to stop Marshall from becoming a Supreme Court justice. And that's a titanic battle that he waged with Justice Marshall. Anyway, Biden was just making the point that, hey, I've been there. I worked with these guys, didn't agree with what they believed in, but that was the game, And some of what he said I didn't agree with because he was trying to compare then to now. I'm like, look, the government and the electorate was a lot whiter back then, so I actually didn't. I agree with some of the criticisms of his comparison. No big deal. So then it turns out that someone finds a quote that he had in 1973, I believe. Yeah, 1973, where he said it was during the mandatory busing debate after integration. The legal integration was mandated in 1964, but integration just meant you can't have a school that's all white and all black. Then the court said, hey, you're not desegregating fast enough, so we're going to force a situation where we're going to make black folks from a certain place, you're going to make you take a certain number of black people in these all-white communities far away, which was not the original intent of integration. Integration was when, back in the 50s, you'd have a school right down the street from some black folks, but they'd have to walk 5 miles to the black school.
Because they can't go to the white one.
So
that's a white one, that's a black one.
So that was what was outlawed. Busing is the opposite. Busing is like, there's your school, but over there's some white folks. Yeah. And we're going to make you go to school with them because that's going to make everyone love each other.
And I've never understood that. I mean,
so you're not in favor of that, right?
Busing?
Yeah.
No, I've never been in favor of busing.
Okay.
The way that it should have been done is fund the schools the same. If you fund the schools the same, then everybody's on the same playing field.
And guess who else has that as the majority view?
Tell me.
Most black people with an education.
Well,
overwhelmingly, that's what black folks who are educated, who middle class, whatever, even if they're not middle class, working class, but most black people who have who and I'm not putting down black folks who don't have an education because I don't, from my experience, they don't necessarily have a different view either. But I'm just saying black folks who've been through the educational system, who watched what busing did, who went to college, they didn't need to go to college with white folks. They didn't need to go to most of my parents' generation went to schools, predominantly black schools. Most of them, not all, but most did. And Or they went to schools with at least a significant black population. They weren't looking to find the whitest school in the world.
Right.
At least not at college. They weren't concerned with that.
They were looking to go to a good school.
A good school.
Who cares what color the person sitting next to them is?
Or in a school that would accept them, that wasn't going to discriminate, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But the point is that 5% of the country was in favor of that busing program. Only 9% of the black folks were in favor of that busing program. So Joe Biden said, I'm not for mandatory busing. If you want to voluntarily exchange, go right ahead. Your school district and your school district have a talk to the people who want to have that exchange. But what he said was, I don't think black people and Chicanos and, whatever, he named a couple other ethnic groups, need to go to school with white people in order to learn.
To me...
Guess who else said that, though?
Who's that?
Stokely Carmichael. A Black Power, he's a member of the Black Power group.
So are they slamming Stokely Carmichael for being that way? Probably
no,
not.
Absolutely, she wouldn't have the. Well, and that's getting into it because this will slide you into an opinion of one of the people on that list. Okay. So they found this quote that Joe Biden made. So then Kamala Harris is like, I can't believe he said that. It's so hurtful. And I'm like, you phony jerk.
Yeah.
Then Cory Booker just flat out says, yeah, I read that. Joe Biden's a racist, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Cory Booker knows better than that. He has black communities that have built up, and I'm not saying black exclusively, but he knows the people in that community aren't trying to send their kids off to find. He knows better than that, but they saw an opportunity to take Biden down. And they were told that black folks would go, oh my gosh, he's a racist. Guess who's not leaving Joe Biden over this issue?
Who's that?
Black voters.
Yeah.
He has no change whatsoever. Guess who he's gained traction with? Upper middle class white women. Educated college are the ones, oh my God, that's so terrible. I'm just talking about the data.
Sure.
I'm not putting them down. I'm just saying they're offended for black people who aren't offended.
Yeah.
And it eats at the core of what's wrong with the Democratic Party. So then you saw what happened. You're aware of what happened in the debate, right?
I didn't watch the debate.
Good, because it was horrible. So basically, they're talking about stuff, and Kamala Harris, at one point, she's in a group where she's the only black person in the second night, says, hey, I want to talk about race. I'm the one black person here. And I'm like, oh, you can see Joe Biden's like, here it comes.
When that happens, and again, I didn't see it, but I could. You've painted a good picture. This is radio, so you've painted a good picture. Theater of the mind.
Right.
It's almost like saying, okay, I'm the Negro. It's time for me to tell people how the Negroes think. Because if you want to, people are comfortable being around people that are like themselves, okay? Less so nowadays, it has to do with what they look like. It's how they act. The majority of people, the younger, the more, everybody enjoys being with someone who is like them, but it's more their thoughts, their actions, their core values, and less so the color of their skin. That's what I believe. So, and I think that happened when this country elected Barack Obama president. I mean, people say, well, the blacks voted in Obama. If every single black person was the only one that voted for Obama, he'd have had 12% of the vote.
Right.
He had far over 50%. Okay. In fact,
53, and then the second time 51.
Yeah. But I mean, Donald Trump didn't get 50% of the vote. He was less than that.
45% of the
Bill
vote.
Clinton never got 50% of the vote.
No.
Never did.
Neither time.
Because of the third party. There were Barack Obama was the first one in quite some time. Bush, at least in one of his elections, didn't get 50% of the vote. He got...
In 2000, he didn't get 50%.
Exactly. So
the last time someone got 50% was 2004, he did.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, 2004, he got 50%, over 50%.
Yes, but one time, not the second.
Yeah.
Or the second, not the first. Obama got 50%.
Both times.
Yep. And it wasn't even close. So people thought, you know what? That guy thinks like me. That guy's like me. Had nothing to do with the color of his skin.
Obama didn't run as like, I'm the black guy.
No, he didn't.
He's being criticized by people like Cornel West for that.
But really?
Yes.
Well,
they're saying he let black people down because
that's ridiculous.
Yes,
I think
it's utterly stupid.
He may have let people down with his policies, but
no, they're saying that he didn't do anything to make black people particularly richer.
Okay, well, he was president for everybody.
Nope, black. Just do stuff for black people. Black guy.
But the demonization of Donald Trump that people accuse many on the left of doing started with Barack Obama.
Yes.
And I never voted for Obama, but I gave him credit where credit was due. Mm-hmm. He wanted to do something with health care. I said, okay, he wants to do something with health care because it's broken. Republicans need to work with him on this. Well, he didn't. Mm-hmm. Okay. He got bin Laden. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the SEALs did, but who was president when Obama?
He made the call.
He made the call, exactly.
He was in charge of the intelligence apparatus that, he should be given some credit.
Yeah, and contrary to popular belief, he's not a Muslim. He wasn't born in Kenya.
Born in Hawaii.
Exactly.
Which is a state.
Exactly. Yeah,
America.
Exactly. And the stuff that people would say about him is, well, he's never been a Christian. He sat in Jeremiah Wright's church for 20 years.
But you do understand, though, why a lot of black folks think Trump's racist for the birther thing, right? I mean, you can't really. You're not unaware of why a black person's like, that's kind of weird. It's not explicitly racist, but come on, you might have been born in Kenya. I mean, that's the kind of stuff they said to black people in the 50s and the 60s.
That's correct.
So, I mean, that Donald Trump is responsible for a lot of that.
Oh, he is. I mean, he is his own worst enemy.
Absolutely.
If they would take his smartphone away from him and have him read more off the teleprompter.
Have you seen his rallies? That's not helping either.
No. To be fair, that's his base. That's his base.
Yeah, but don't tell them to be like that and then be like, why you think I'm racist?
Right. Yeah. No, I don't disagree with you. If it looks like a duck, if it walks like a duck, I get that.
And I get, people keep talking about, Mitt Romney, he was too moderate, and people are like, he was too politically correct, and Donald Trump, that's the way you do it. He did so much better. He didn't do better than Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney actually got a higher percentage of the white vote than Donald Trump did. He got a higher percentage of the overall vote than Donald Trump did. You know what's ironic, and we talked about this before? You know why Donald Trump beat Hillary Clinton? They call him, the Mr. White guy president, Mr. White racist. He beat Hillary Clinton much in part because he doubled Mitt Romney's share of black voters.
A lot of black folks comparatively.
He did comparatively 10 to 12 points better with black voters and then Latino voters than Mitt Romney. That's what he won. He really didn't do comparatively better with white voters. That's the ironic thing. A lot of people, black folks, Latinos, feel the same way about Hillary Clinton. Not most, but enough that that's what partly caused her to lose. So I do agree with you on some sect that the focus on Trump's racism is overstated. At the same time, he doesn't give us a choice. He won't let us out because I want to get out of that. Mm-hmm. But then he's like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I can't defend that. I don't want to.
You can't. And I would never try to get in his head. But I don't think he wants you to defend that. I really do believe he does this, sees the reaction, and laughs. I think it's a big joke. I really do.
Yeah, but that would make him insane and unfit. If you're saying things that make millions of people wonder if you're going to come after them, and you're laughing, now I reject the idea that he's a Nazi. I reject the idea. He's nothing like, if you study German history, he's nothing like Hitler.
Exactly.
The comparisons are absurd.
Exactly.
That being said, if you're saying you 4 women should go back to the countries you're from and 3 of them are from America, and you're laughing, that's pretty disturbing.
Exactly.
There's no way to like people go, he's just playing the media. But I'm not saying it's cool for him to say that about Omar, but if he had just said Omar can go back to Somalia, you can make the case, well, it wasn't a race thing. She's from Somalia. She's Muslim. Boom, 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 boom. You could play that game.
But he lumped the other 3 into it,
She told 3 people that were born that actually have as deep or deeper roots in America than he does. He's only 2nd generation American.
Yeah.
So that's why people go, wait a minute, what's different? Then he said earlier, on 2 occasions, he says, why don't we get more immigrants from Europe? Why don't we get more immigrants in? And then what he specifically identified Norway. You got to see where people might go, wait a minute. Yeah. So you can't ask people to be politically correct about Donald Trump's madness. That being said, the Democratic Party has massive problems with race too.
Well,
that we're not examining with the same fine-tooth comb.
And that's why I think Joe Biden has a good chance